You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
So Sunday was a fruitful day for LSU on the recruiting trail. Aiden Hall, one of the top safeties in America for 2026 out of Edna Carr in New Orleans, picked the LSU Tigers, making that announcement on Sunday. I'll give you the background here on Hall. He is a consensus 4-star. All of the services have him as a 4-star. He is rated as high as number 51 in the country by On3. In the composite, he's the number 54 overall player in the country. That's 54 at any position. So we're talking about a major prospect here for 2026. 6th best safety in the country, 5th best player in Louisiana, 6 foot, 175, ended up picking LSU over Alabama, Texas, Southern Cal, Oregon, Georgia, Florida State, Ole Miss. The list of offers for Aiden Hall is long and illustrious. It's basically everybody. LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, Oregon, Georgia, USC, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Duke, Texas Tech, A&M, Texas, Georgia Tech, Alabama, Tennessee, Baylor, Mizzou. I mean, everybody. Had darn near offers from everybody. And he's a rising junior. So there's a couple of reasons why I think this is significant. One is we continue to harp on that 2026 class in Louisiana, right? And I think that's where I'm going to start and going to continue to mention over and over again. Look at LSU's national championship teams. You'll see years where there's a bumper crop in the state of Louisiana. And when you get the bulk of those guys to stay home, you end up building a championship team, a championship caliber team around them. Started back with that 01 class that had Michael Clayton and Marcus Spears and Andrew Whitworth and all those, got Marquise Hill, who all stayed home and ultimately won a national championship at LSU. When you look at Louisiana in 2026, it's very similar, where Jakeem Stewart out of St. Aug is the number 1 player in the state. Lamar, one of the top, number 4 nationally. Lamar Brown, number 5 nationally. Blaine Bradford, number 13 nationally. Bryson Martinez, number 46 nationally. Aiden Hall, number 54 nationally. Jabari Mack, 78th nationally. I mean, all these guys I'm talking about, too, are all guys that are either committed to LSU or are LSU leans. So, yes, it is so imperative that you start fast with this 2026 class, so there's a Pied Piper effect for the rest of the 2026 class. We're going to get right back to the video, but thrilled to tell you again about our new partner this football season here on AFR LSU, and it's our friends at BetUS. Look, I get it. You probably are already sports betting somewhere else, and that's fine. But if you are, make sure you take advantage this football season of this amazing introductory offer over at BetUS. New customers are getting a 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. Even if you're betting somewhere else or have in the past, it's time to find BetUS. We got the link in the description of this video, so please use our link to sign up. Maybe you want to wager on the Tigers. Hey, that win total is up right now, and most places I've seen have LSU over under 9.5. One of the reasons it pays to shop around. Check BetUS. They've got LSU's win total at 9. Yeah, it's a little juice there at 125, but less risk as well, because if the Tigers land on 9, then you push. Obviously, if they go 10-2 or better, you're going to take home some cash, and you could do it over at BetUS. Remember, take advantage of that great offer for new customers, 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 at BetUS. Great partner of ours here on AFR LSU this football season. The link is in the description of this video. The other part as well is New Orleans. When we talk about the 2026 commits for LSU, every commit that you have right now for 2026, they're all from New Orleans. So yes, you're making hay. And when you look at someone specifically like Aiden Hall, who plays safety, you had a situation with Aiden Hall where Frank Wilson, who's the area recruiter in New Orleans, kind of assists Jake Olson, the safeties coach. So Jake Olson gets a big-time prospect for his room, but you also end up talking about getting Frank Wilson, whoever Frank Wilson wants out of New Orleans, effectively Frank Wilson gets out of New Orleans. It seems that way anyway, and it certainly bodes well for the 2026 class when you look at the other guys I just mentioned, all from New Orleans. So, right now, the guys committed for 2026 for LSU, Aiden Hall from Edna Karr, Richard Anderson from Edna Karr, Jalen Chapman from Warren Easton, Ja'Kai Anderson from McDonough 35. So a huge, huge start for 2026 for LSU. The other piece of this that I guess is interesting and worth mentioning is the safety room and the depth there. Like, when I look at LSU at safety right now, man, they got a lot of numbers. They had to fortify that spot if the defense was so bad a year ago, and they've done it. You want to look at even a guy like Sage Ryan, who was playing safety in spring and is playing corner now, but even if you don't include Sage Ryan or Major Burns, who's playing the star position, you go look at the safeties right now, and they are just flooded with numbers. I mean, Brian Kelly told me this when I interviewed him one-on-one at Media Day. Something like 18 scholarship defensive backs right now. It's a glut of bodies to try to find the right people. You brought in Jordan Gilbert. You got guys like Jordan Allen, Deshaun Spears, the freshman who everybody's super high on. Joel Rogers, another freshman. Kylan Jackson, who redshirted a year ago, but they're very high on. Juwan Johnson, the freshman coming in this year. You've got numbers at safety. But I also know this. After this season, you're losing Major Burns and Sage Ryan. They're out of eligibility. Jordan Gilbert, in his fourth year of college, could go pro after the season. So you could be losing a glut of your experience after this season. And you look at 2025, who you have coming in, well, you've got Jace Thomas committed, but that's it. Now you're pushing for Jonah Williams, the number one safety in the country, and you offered Jacob Bradford out of Catholic High, who's a 4-star. So you could end up adding 3 safeties in this class, or you could miss on both those guys and have one. And then when you look at 2026, you're in on Blaine Bradford, who's the number one safety in the country, and now you've got Aiden Hall committed. The point is, you're losing after the season Sage Ryan and Major Burns, and possibly Jordan Gilbert. That doesn't even start to talk about the portal guys, which is why every year now I think you have to be looking at positions like receiver and defensive back, and positions where you have numbers, because when guys get caught up in that numbers game, they're more likely to transfer. Look at what happened on the offensive line this year for LSU as well. Like, it's part of the reasons why you have two true freshmen on your 2 deep right now, because you lose a guy like Lance Hurd out of the transfer portal. You lose a guy like Marlon Martinez, who's a veteran who decides he's going to go play Mississippi State and have a chance to start this year. It's just the nature of roster building now, where you have to sort of oversign because of the nature of the portal. And then also next year going to 105 scholarships, you've got to add 20 more scholarship players than you normally would. So I think you're probably going to end up offering players sometimes, or taking players that you otherwise wouldn't if you were just hard capped at 25 and 85 scholarship players. So Aiden Hall for 2026 is big for a lot of reasons. It's a position that's going to be a position of need. It's a guy out of New Orleans that you continue to just put a fence around that city. And obviously, 2026, a bumper crop in the state. You got to get all those guys, and he's a big one. A number 54 overall player in the country. Aiden Hall commits to LSU for the class of 2026. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.